Many thanks to a friend on Discord for bringing this to my attention. Here is a tweet from Owen Benjamin, a right-wing guy who I know next to nothing about because I don't keep up with him. And after reading this shit, I have no interest in keeping up with this fucking weirdo. Anyway, here we go. Why would a rich, famous guy marry a 34-year-old woman? If you started immediately, you might be able to have 2 kids, and she's publicly had sex with a ton of guys. Despite her wealth, she's very low quality for any successful male. Just seems weird, almost like he's a gay guy. What the fuck? Anyway, why would a successful man want a middle-aged woman who is always on tour? Could it be because he's gay? Again, what the actual fuck? I'm assuming this tweet is directed at Travis Kelce, the football guy that Taylor Swift is dating, or are they actually married or planning to get married? I have no clue what their relationship status is because I don't see why that should be any of my fucking concern. But I just wonder, where the fuck does this idea that a woman is used goods and middle-aged when she's 30 fucking years old come from? I see this all the time with right-wingers. Once a woman reaches age 30, they hit the wall, they're no longer attractive, they're an old hag. If 30 is too old for you, then I think that raises some major red flags, because all too often with this crowd of people, you hear them say shit like, a woman is at her most fertile when she's 16 years old. And even in this tweet, there's the insinuation that 34 is too old to get married and have a child. So ideally, when should a woman start? When she's in her late teens or just barely in her 20s? And notice that there's never any onus put onto the man. Once a woman reaches her 30s, that's it. She's hit the wall. But we don't care what age a man chooses to have a child at. If a 55-year-old man gets an 18-year-old pregnant, are you gonna bat an eye at that? Or be like, well, it's okay because she's at prime childbirth age, even though she's just barely out of fucking high school and just barely considered an adult? I say if more people want to hold out until their late 20s or early 30s before they make huge decisions like committing to a lifelong relationship or having a child, that is 100% for the better. Your brain isn't finished developing until roughly your mid to late 20s, and yet a lot of people think it should be the norm for people at like 20 fucking years old to get married and start having a family. You're still in your early 20s. You're still young and dumb. Perhaps not as young and dumb as you were when you were teenagers, but I'm 22, going on 23, and I am certain when I'm in my 30s, reflecting on this time of my life, I'll probably be like, ooh, I did that, ooh, I said that. Kinda like how I am now, looking back at shit I said and did when I was a teenager, because I am still developing as a person. And so is everyone else who is around my age. Are there people out there who have married in their late teens or early 20s and they lived happily ever after and grew old together? Sure, but not everyone finds their Romeo or their Juliet at this stage of their lives, nor do they need to. There's a reason that getting married and starting a family at age 18, 19, 20, 21, etc. isn't considered the norm anymore, because we have a better understanding of the human psyche and understand that you're not fully gelled as a person yet at those ages. I have a cousin who is around 25 or 26 now. She got knocked up when she was around 20 or 21 years old. She had a child with a dude she was dating in college, and they pretty much rushed into marriage. She was still pregnant when she got married, I'm pretty sure. I bet she thought she found her soulmate. She already had a child with him. She was probably planning on having more. Fast forward to today, divorced. Her college sweetheart was cheating on her. I even caught wind that he thought the marriage was a mistake. This is the reality of choosing to enter what is supposed to be a lifelong commitment when you're not even fully developed as a person yet. You may think you're living the Disney fairy tale life when it first happens, but don't be surprised if within a few years and your brain develops even more, you're like, what the fuck did I get myself into? This isn't what I want, at least at this point in my life. This is why I'm not a fan of these fresh out of high school, still college-age marriages, because this is usually how they end. And this is why I advocate for saving that shit for a little later in life. Live out the remainder of your youth, let your brain fully develop, and then decide if you want to tackle the huge commitments like marriage and childbirth. And if Taylor Swift does decide to get married and have a child at this this stage of her life and sets the example that it is perfectly okay to hold out until your 30s before you make huge commitments like these, then I commend that. And honestly, this hits a bit close to home because Taylor Swift is the same age my mom was when she had me, 34. Actually, my mom had just turned 34 when she had me. My birthday and her birthday are just a little over a week apart. Growing up, I never once thought, why did my mom have me so late? Because she didn't. All of my friends' mothers were around my mom's age. During the recession, my mother lost her job and was struggling to find employment for a while, so to kill time during the day, she joined my elementary school's PTA. And at the end of every school day, I would go to the PTA office to meet up with my mom so she could drive me home, and all of the mothers in that office were around my mom's age, late 30s, early 40s. So I had no reason to think as a kid that my mom having me at age 34 was weird, because the mothers of most of the kids that I knew back then had them at around the same age, or fuck, even a little older. So if Taylor Swift decides to have a child at this point in her life, I highly, highly doubt her child will think twice about her having them in her 30s. And here's the shit kicker about the tweet that I read. You know how they're going on and on about how 34 is so old? Why would an athletic football player go with such an old lady? I looked it up and Travis Kelce is the same age as Taylor Swift. 34 years old. From the way this tweet was worded, I was thinking that Travis Kelce is like 25 years old and Taylor Swift is nearly 10 years older than him. But no, they're the same age, so why the fuck should I care about their relationship? And why the fuck should I care about whether or not they choose to get married and have a child? I swear, I'm like half tempted to begrudgingly become a Taylor Swift fan because it seems like the people who aren't fans of her are some of the most psychotic people on the planet. And honestly, I support her making these people melt the fuck down by simply just existing and choosing to live her own life the way she sees fit. So, good on her for that. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.